Get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Start my day. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Drink some water, brush my teeth. Get out of bed and I stretch. Bed in my hair is a mess. Look through my clothes for a fit. Anything I do is drip. Feel like a kid when I'm tick-tocking. I still keep it real as it is. I show my age, I don't switch often. I'm just as a dad as it gets. Try taking naps with my kids talking. I'm guessing this life how it is. And I can't wait for the weekend. Keep jammies on like I'm a kid. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Feel good, feel great, can't complain. Look out my window, see birds and planes. Sun's out, some clouds, it might rain. Siblings on my nerves again. Summertime, go for a swim. Wintertime, go grab a sled. Spring, I might need an umbrella. Fall back in school with my friends. Attitude change like the weather. My mom tell me it never ends. Like clocks, we evolve in a circle. Every 12 months we do it again. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day.
It's gonna be a great
What's up, guys? Welcome to today's class. Super excited to have you guys here with me. Let me know in the chat if you're an OG, if you've been watching this show for a long time, you've been a part of these classes since the beginning. Also, let me know if you're new. If you're new, type new in the chat so I can see that as well. Super excited to be cutting hair with you guys today. We're going to be focusing on fine haircuts. So we're going to work on techniques that go great with fine hair, but also I'm going to show you guys how to style hair that's fine as well. Give you guys some tips on that, how to make it feel a little bit thicker. There's different tricks and techniques that you can do to make fine hair feel a little bit different. So I want to get you guys involved in the chat. Definitely let me know where you're watching from. Again, if you're new, if you've been watching for a while, just keep chatting away, because the more you talk, the bigger this room grows, the more people we can get exposed to the class. So today's a little bit weird. It's a Wednesday. Normally I do this on Tuesday. We got in here yesterday, but we had a snowstorm, so it made things difficult to get started by 12. So we just moved it to the next day. So we're here, gonna have some fun. This is our Tuesday trimmed show on a Wednesday. So it's kind of how it's all gonna go. So say hello. Let's get this thing going. Let me I'll put some of your comments up on the board here. Let me see. Where's my Tuesday trim? And I can talk about that for a sec. I always have the hardest time. There it is. Gotta unlock it. Hang on. Good times. There it is. Pop. All right, cool. So this class is brought to you by my friends at MinervaBeauty.com. If you're looking to upgrade your salon furniture, definitely check them out. They've been a big supporter of free salon education since the beginning. One of the biggest, one of the best. So we're also very close friends at this point. So if you're looking to upgrade your salon, then definitely check out MinervaBeauty.com. Everything that's in my salon was done by them. You could see how beautiful it is on the pictures for that. So it's just, they're a great company. Another great benefit of using Minerva Beauty is the fact that they keep everything in their giant warehouse for the most part. So everything's in stock, so you order it and you get it. So it's definitely a great option. A lot of companies you buy things from, this is just from personal experience. You order it, but you don't get it for months because they make it to order, basically. So Minerva's awesome. Go Minerva. That's right. Let's see. So frustrated with my bangs. I need to learn a good technique on how to shape my side bangs. Saying you're frustrated and you need to learn a way is probably why your bangs are not going so well. So just, Ellen, try to seek out somebody that's really good at bangs. There's different stylists that are good at different things. Find somebody that understands bangs. You like the pictures that they post about them, and I would start there. Bangs are not expensive to get right, so definitely see if you can find somebody, because you can most of the time book just to get your bangs cut. All right. The other company that I want to shout out before we get started is Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell is a sponsor of the show as well. So I'll be using some Paul Mitchell products, Paul Mitchell tools to work through these different looks, the different style. And thank you to them for supporting the show. The whole purpose of this is to be free. And the way it's free is great companies like Minerva and Paul Mitchell. So thank you to them for the support. All right, so let's get started. Let's have some fun. I see all of you guys definitely blowing up today. We got Louisville, Kentucky, India. Always representation in India. Love it. Let's see. Who else we got? Bangs with a calic. Nope. Yeah. Bangs with a calic is a tricky thing. We should actually do a whole segment on just bangs alone. Another from Scotland, lived in central PA years ago. So we're on the east side of PA. Hello, Ohio. I have fine, thinning hair, and I've been looking for the best cut for me. All right, so let's talk about this. Who is that? Sage? Let me see if I can get this up here. All right, so Sage, that's what we're going to go over today. Not necessarily the perfect haircut for fine hair, but I want to talk about fine hair, really break it down. I've got a mannequin back here. Danielle, one of my stylists here at the salon, colored it for me, so it's really cool looking. And I'm going to show you guys some tricks on that, on how to kind of go through fine hair and how to think about it. So let's pop over to the mannequin. I'll show you guys the color before we start cutting it, but it's pretty cool. She did a great job melting different tones throughout it. She used Paul Mitchell Pop XG to color it. So really cool fantasy color look. So you can see all through there. And we're going to cut. So let's break down some fine hair thoughts before we start cutting. Because what you want to do, anytime you have a fine hair guest in the salon, you want to assess where the hair starts to get weak. Because a lot of times, if you look at the hair kind of from this point down, it doesn't look, or this point up, I guess you could say. From this point up, it doesn't really look weak. So it's really from the neck down, or the shoulder point down, where this is a little bit weaker. So that's what I would want to focus on with my client. So I would look at and assess where the hair starts to get a little less dense, a little weaker towards the ends, and then that's where I want to base my haircut in. Now, I'm going to do this dry today because I want to be able to see the density as I'm working. And the sectioning is going to be pretty simple as well. So we're going to work through that first. I can see your guys' questions. Here's one thing I want you guys to do as we go through this class. I want you to put a cue up before your questions. So if you have questions throughout this, it's really important to put that cue before it, because as you guys can see behind me, there's a chat board, and it's every single social platform that we're talking on today. So sometimes I miss the question. So I want to make sure that I get to your question. So just type a Q and then put the question after it. Other thing is share the show if you can. So if you're on Facebook, share it. If you're on YouTube, you could just take a little click of it and share it maybe on your Instagram story. Just let's get as many people in here as we can and going so that the conversation becomes more fun. All right. Super cool. The other thing that I want to talk to you guys about before I get started is that we have a virtual cutting club that meets every single Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm also throwing in some different guest artists. I have Ben Brown coming in this month as well, and we'll have a few other people. But the virtual cutting club is a monthly subscription, so it's $50 a month. You get 4 classes a month guaranteed, and then you get sometimes a bonus above and beyond that moving forward. You can watch all the old classes that we've done, and we do it over Zoom, which is really cool because it's a little bit different than what you're seeing right here. This is a free class, and I try to answer your questions. I try to see all of your stuff. When we're in a Zoom room, I can see you guys cutting hair. You can ask me questions using your voice. It's just a really cool experience. So if you want to be a part of that, go to freesaloneducation.com. And you can sign up. If you're already signed up on freesaloneducation.com, you just got to upgrade your subscription from free to the membership, the Virtual Cutting Club membership. All right. What's up, Lynn? Good to see you. Lynn's in the Cutting Club. Adele's in the Cutting Club. She's here too. Very cool to see you guys. All right. Let's get started on the mannequin. So I'm going to do the sectioning, and then I'm going to break it down over on the board. So right here, comb out the mannequin a little bit. And what I want to look for is basically going from recession point back to the occipital bone. And I'm going to draw a curved line from this point back to the occipital bone. So right here, comb the hair in the direction I want to take it. And then I draw a curved line back, just like that. I'll hold the rest of the hair in my hand and turn it so you guys can see. Now we're going to come across the occipital bone. And then I'm going to draw a line on the opposite side and meet. So right here. And sometimes it's easier if you just want to kind of break this up and you want to clip the one side away. If the layers are a little bit shorter. I'm not having really any issues here working through it. This is really exposing some of that beautiful teal blue color. All right, so now as I comb it up in the air, I'm just looking for balance on both sides. So I want to make sure that both of these sides match up. And that's good to go. So now I'm going to twist it up and clip it away. So slide that clip in and just twist that knot on top. Now I'm going to go through and just assess the bottom, kind of feel through it. I'll look for those weak points. We're going to be cutting kind of a medium length haircut. What I find with fine hair is that the longer it gets, it's obviously going to get weaker towards the bottom. This hair not only has been on the head quite a bit longer, but fine hair tends to kind of break off as you're blow drying it, different things. It's not as strong. So you're going to have more density in this area than you are in the ends because some of this hair is already just growing back from breaking through blow drying, ironing, all of that stuff. So just kind of meeting it up with the hair that has broken off a little bit, that's just going to give you more density throughout the cut. Most likely your fine hair doesn't get to this point, right? So as it's growing, some of it breaks, and now you got to kind of work and grow it out again. So let's just kind of make it a rule that if you want a fuller looking hairstyle, number one is to get it to a length where your hair likes to stay dense. So look for that density. I'm going to say this is about shoulder length is a good length for somebody with fine hair, or go shorter. But going longer is just, your hair's just not going to look as full. You can definitely hit it with a wand, give it some wave, makes it feel a little bit fuller, but in the end, it's definitely going to always look weak at the bottom. So now that I have it sectioned away, I'm actually going to hit it with an iron real quick. We're going to add a little bit of Neuro Protect to this bottom section, and I'm going to iron over it just to smooth it out because I'm going to cut a nice baseline to begin with. Is there a video tutorial for the color? Not yet, Alex, but we are... I think Danielle did take pictures during the process. We'll see, but otherwise I'll have her maybe do it again on a video because it's pretty sweet, this color. This color was a big surprise from Danielle because I just said do whatever you want, and this is what she came back with. So, super fun. All right, so I'm just going to iron this nice and smooth here, this bottom section. And if a client came in, and obviously it's in the best interest to blow dry, to shampoo, blow dry, do all of that work, smooth out this bottom, you should do that. So just kind of assess what your client's hair is like. Don't just start cutting it dry. Really blow it dry, nice and smooth. And then as you're working through it, you'll have better results because obviously you'll have a nice smooth palette you're working with. What kind of iron is that? This is a Paul Mitchell Express Ion Style Plus. See if it'll, oh, there we go. I like this iron because it's nice and skinny, so it's easy to work in tighter spots. Is it better to cut wet or dry? So Faye, that's a great question. I like cutting dry on fine hair sometimes, so it's not an all the time rule, but sometimes, especially on longer hair, because I can see that density. When the hair is wet, it's harder to see how much density you're actually leaving on the head. Sometimes it can be a little deceiving, one way or the other. So just making sure that I know exactly how thick the hair is going to feel when it's done. But I like doing it straight, so then when I go through it and cut it, obviously I get a nice straight line to it. Then we can add a little bit of wave to it at the end. All right, cool. All right, so now I've got the hair smoothed out, and we're gonna cut one length. So let me go over to the board, show you guys something real quick. So our thought process here is that we sectioned off this disconnection. That's what we're dealing with right now. So what we're gonna do with all of this hair underneath, we're gonna pull that hair straight down and cut it blunt. Not the best drawer, but we're gonna bring it straight down, cut it blunt at the length that we want it. What that's gonna do is it's gonna keep all of the density, as much density as we have at that length, and we're gonna cut our line. Now, the reason we wanna do that is because we also wanna add layers to this fine hair to create some movement, but I don't wanna take away and layer all of it. So being able to keep almost from that parietal ridge, that recession point down to the occipital bone, all of that cutting at one length is gonna keep it full, and then we'll start layering the top. I'm gonna do all of that parallel to the floor, just lift it straight up in the air and start point cutting into it and softening some of those layers. So you can see here, same thing. All of this is gonna be brought down, cut blunt at that point here, and then all the top is gonna be brought straight up, cut into kind of a square layer on the top of the head. So that's our work through with this haircut. All right, let's go back over. So first things first, we got to cut blunt in the haircut. So I'm going to use a wider tooth comb. So this is available on our shop FSE. I'm going to use a wider tooth comb because I'm cutting it dry and I don't want to hold too much tension on the hair. I really just want to comb it down to control it and then let the hair just hang where it naturally wants to. So let's turn her around. I grab my cutting stool. I talk about this a lot, but this is one of my favorite things on the planet. This is the Minerva Beauty Samvia Edition, I believe, cutting stool. It's got this super thick pad on it, rollerblade style wheels, so it moves across the floor nice and smooth. One of the best investments ever. All right, so I turn the head here, and I'm gonna start cutting my line. So you can see how you can't see really anything from this point over, but then when you get here, you really start to see through the hair and even more at this point. So I'm gonna go a little bit below, but I wanna cut my line right down here, and this is where we'll have the fullest point in the hair. So right here, bring the hair down. Oh. I wanna make sure that you're directly in the back. Obviously, when you're working in a mirror, you're gonna be able to see straight on. With the mirror, make sure the client's looking straight ahead. Their head's not tilted at all. Their legs aren't crossed, so they're sitting straight. And then you can go through and you can cut your line in the back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the comb down, wide teeth, right here, and I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna cut my blunt line on the bottom. So now, already, when you take a look at this, look how full this looks compared to how weak this looks right here. That's gonna give you a much fuller effect in fine hair, and then you can go through and you can obviously give this a little wand iron to build it up, but it's gonna have it nice and thick. If I were to elevate that part of the head, what's gonna happen is it would lighten up the ends and it would make it feel way less full. So here we go, moving around the head. I'm shifting over into the corner. I'm gonna cut a round line around the head shape. And I'm just holding the hair still with my comb. And the reason I'm doing that is because the hair would tend to push with the scissor. This is a really sharp scissor, but and it has a little bit of grip on the hair. A lot of people's scissors kind of push the hair a little bit, have it more of a hot knife through butter feel, but that feeling is the hair pushing a little bit. So you want to make sure when you're going through the hair that you have the comb there just as a safety point. And this would be right above the shoulder, kind of right on top of the shoulder, so I don't have to worry about it. If we were going a little bit lower, maybe on shoulder, that's where we chose to cut this, then I would have her turn her head a little bit, and then I would cut it, the line, in the most natural fall possible. So the same thing on this side here. And because I'm using the comb to hold the hair in place, I can come through here and I can cut back towards my line. If I were just cutting the hair like this, I would not want to come back at it. I would want to go this way to push the hair in the same direction, but because I'm holding it still with my comb, it's okay. So again, here, down, just matching those two lines up. So there we go, nice blunt feel to the haircut. I'm not worried about the total outcome of that yet because I'm going to go through and do the rest of the cut, and then I'll work that perimeter even more, and then we'll go through and style it. So, all right. Sorry, I'm reading Maria's question. Let me go to Maria's question real quick before I move on. Here is kind of the fun part about these classes is that my goal with these classes is to answer as many questions as possible because we're on here live. I'm recording this class to make it a small 3 to 12 minute hair tutorial that will then live on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all of that. But I want to get in there and really answer as many questions as possible. So if I'm answering a lot of questions, I'm talking a lot, this is really part of the process of filming this video and trying to get you guys as involved as possible. So those of you guys that love the 2-minute tutorials, this will be one. So, you know, you could choose to hang with us and ask questions and be a part of it, or you can wait and that tutorial will be out soon. Why are you waiting to correct the perimeter? So Ruby, I'm not really correcting the perimeter. Oh, that's Adele. There you go, Ruby. Love your cartoon picture. I'm not really waiting to correct the perimeter. The perimeter's pretty locked in, but I'm gonna go through and point cut it a little bit at the end as I start to see the style unfold. So sometimes I just get everything at the length I need it, and then I'll go through and kind of work it later in the detail portion of the cut. So for me, I always think about speed in the salon. So not necessarily working fast so I mess things up, working efficient and going through and making sure that, you know, I don't like to, so let's talk about this real quick. So stylists and successful stylists, in my opinion, are ones that are very consistent in their timing. So being able to book a client and efficiently book that client. So not necessarily trying to do everything in the first visit. I try to plan out that I'm going to spend about an hour and a half with every client. And in that hour and a half, I'm going to get most of the things they want done, and I'm going to plan out everything else. So trying to get the stuff done that they want. So that's what I want you to think about is as I'm moving through this haircut, I'm not taking a lot of time on different areas. I like to get it set, and then at the very end, I do that detail work. And then I know really at that point how much time I have to do that detail work. So depending on their haircut and the complexity of it, that's kind of how I go about it. So if you're an independent stylist and you don't own a salon, are you able to sign up for the FSE portal? I've tried several times, but I can't get past the section that asking for salon information. Salon information is where you do hair. So it's not your salon, it's just the information of where you currently do hair. So if you're an independent stylist and you don't own a salon, you've got to have a place of business to be able to get clients to go there. So make sure that you just put in whatever the address is of where you do hair. but people contact you through that portal. It's not the salon anyway. So you put whatever phone number they would contact you for hair. But most of the time, I think we took out the phone number really even. Not sure. I think it's hidden so that they contact you only through the app. So hopefully that helps. All right. So let me go back over. So now we've got our length cut, and I'm going to go through and work the top section. Like I said before, all of this is going to kind of come straight up. So I'm going to let this down for now, and you'll see it kind of come over everything. Now you could continue to cut this hair blunt if you wanted, but you'll see that that's hitting right where that density I was talking about, so where it gets a little bit thinner. So what I'm going to do is grab my scissors here. So I'm going to comb this into a couple sections. So I'll comb it back, find their parting that they're going to wear. So we'll comb it back here. Second comb drop. It's one of those days. So here's the parting. Part it right there. And then I'm going to find what splits the front and back. So right here, down to the hairline. We talk about this all the time. So there's that hairline. This is kind of the hair that's going to sit in the back of the head. So I'll clip the rest of this away. And I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side over here. Find the front and the back. Down to the hairline. All of this hair wants to fall into the back, and all of this hair wants to fall into the side. So I'll clip that away. So now we've got our back portion of the haircut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to elevate it up. So I'm going to stand on the left-hand side of the head. Get this locked in for you guys. So left-hand side of the head, vertical section straight down the center back. I'm going to bring this up. Now, my guide, I will see kind of from the bottom. You can decide, do you want to cut at that guideline here, or do you want to go a little bit past it? If you go past it, it's going to push hair below the perimeter line. That's okay. You can always go in and point cut that or cut it blunt at the end. And that's what I'm going to choose to do because I want to push a little extra weight to the bottom. And I don't want extra short layers on the top. So here we go, up. Just like that, the guideline falls out, and now I'm going to go in, and I'm going to point cut through the hair. So now take a look at how full, when you take away these pieces, how full the back of this looks right here. It starts to kind of elevate out. It's got that fullness to it. And that's the same thing I want to do on both sides. So this side now, I'm going to bring it up to the center. Guideline falls out. And now what's happening when I pull this hair up into the center? It's over-directing. What happens when we over-direct? When we over-direct, it pushes weight away from where we're pulling it to. So if I'm pulling it away towards my body, it's going to push the most weight away from my body. So right here, bring this hair up. Cut your line, and you can see how this starts to build a really nice kind of lob shape to it, medium length haircut feel. Now, these little pieces are going beyond the perimeter that we knew was going to happen. So that's what we can go in and take off later. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the left-hand side. Felicia, I'm new to this channel, watching from work in a hospital in Chicago. Oh, thanks. I appreciate the rest. So, Felicia, thanks. Hopefully you're getting some ideas to share with your hairdresser here. So we lift the hair up just like that, and we're going to cut it, all being brought to that center point. So just like this, point cut through. Now maybe we break down point cutting just a little bit. One of the things that I like to do with point cutting, and we talked about this in our virtual cutting club classes, but one of the things I like to do with point cutting is point towards your buddy, then back at your body. So towards your buddy, back at your body, and that's how you cut. You don't want to come this way, lifting your elbow up and cutting into it, because look what happens. As I cut into it, that blade is attacking my finger. If I shift it like this, my elbow goes down, so I'm more comfortable, and then the blade that's coming at my finger is being blocked by the steady blade. So I can actually go through here and not worry about cutting myself because I feel this blade rubbing across my hand. So I just come down, cut, and come through and cut. So work on that motion as you come through and you're cutting the hair so that you can kind of decide. Now, if you want to cut a precise line when point cutting, you're going to go in and come at more of an angle, and you can work that precise line. If you want to remove just a tiny bit of weight within a haircut, you would go and start shifting your hand up. The more of an angle that gets more T to the section, right? T to the section, this is going to take out very little weight. So you'll be removing just tiny little bits. So if I bring the example over here, I comb her hair up, I've got a nice little line in here, and if I go in straight on like this, I'm barely taking out any hair. Let me zoom in. So if I'm here, comb the hair up, and I cut like this, I'm not taking out any hair. If I want to remove, this takes out quite a bit of hair. So you could draw your line across and then just come directly in like this and soften that line. So hard line through, you could cut it blunt like this, be even harder, and then at the end, you can just soften it a little bit. All right. Great point. My knuckles are scared for life. Love it. Let's see. Rachel, thanks so much. Everybody, Colleen, thank you. Lisa, thank you. Very cool to see all of you guys in there. Thanks for joining today. All right. Now, super simple. In the other two sides, we're going to go through, and I'm going to lift this up. We've obviously got our length underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out. I'm going to show you guys this little trick here. So what I want to do is I'm going to take my guest, I'm going to tell her to tilt her head just slightly towards me, like this, in the chair. That's the beauty of working with a client. They can help you create a nice little style. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab all of this hair. I'm going to lift it up over her head, and I can see the guidelines start to fall out. So right here, this is all the little hairs that we cut blunt at the bottom. So when I start seeing that, and I can see it kind of through here, and see my guide from the rest, I can go through, lift it up, and point cut my length across. So just like this, point cut my length across, kind of connecting it to that back point. But again, not pulling in this perimeter because I want to keep that perimeter nice and heavy. Okay, so then there we go again. Got some nice length to it. Now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Let your guest do some of the work. Have them tilt towards you just slightly. That way, because there's a chair here, that way you can comfortably get everything over. If you want to lean over the chair and pull it up, you can do that too. So here we go. Grab just a little bit of that hair as a guideline. Bring it all up to me, to this point, and point cut through. Now, what's happening to the front pieces of this haircut? These pieces here. They're going to be a little bit longer. Why are they going to be a little bit longer? Because the forehead starts to move forward, so there's a little bit more over direction of that piece because we're cutting everything straight up. So all of this is being cut straight up, and because it's being cut straight up, you're going to get that little bit of extra length. Now this is looking good. All right. So now we've got a nice medium length haircut that has a really solid foundation. That's number one. Really solid foundation. But also, I'm going to back this out a little bit. Carry you guys with me here for a sec. Okay. So we've got this cut, which has a really solid foundation in the base area here, but then the layers that just fall over top of it that have a ton of movement because of the point cutting. So that's the key thing that I want you guys to think about as you go through these haircuts is everything has to have a purpose. It has to have a reason of why it works. Haircutting is not complicated, but if you don't know what you're doing, if you haven't been through these scenarios, if you don't understand hair texture, type, density, all that stuff, then you're not going to understand how simple it is. It becomes simple because you learn, and you learn how to kind of manipulate the situation. So underneath here, solid baseline. Over top of it, broken line. Now what I want to do is I want to go through here in this area right here, and I want to kind of fine tune it just by bringing this hair down and cutting into, with a point cut technique, a little bit of that baseline of the haircut. So right here, you can see where some of that passes by. Lily thinks one side's longer than the other. Probably. That's okay. We are going to work through that right now. We're working the perimeter of the cut. So now what I want to do is I want to comb down, wide teeth. Wide teeth through the hair, and I'm just going to soften that line around the perimeter. Same thing here, down, point cutting. I don't want a blunt line now. I want it to be nice and soft. It's got much more modern feel to it as we cut through. So here, there we go. Cool. These are the pieces Lily's talking about right here. So this stuff, we're going to cut it all off. It's the disconnection from the elevation that we did. This side is a little bit, I over-directed it more. And so that's really what it is. This is the weaker side too. So both sides of the haircut are not exactly the same. So like as you're working through a haircut, if they part their hair on the side, like this one, she parts it over here to this side. Show you guys. This is a little bit harder. So she parts over to this side here. So she's going to have a little bit different lengths because one side has this much hair and the other side has, this much hair. So, but I can see my guide right through there, and that's what I'm aiming for. So point cut. This mannequin does not have thick hair, Andrea, just so you know. This is actually super thin, this hair. Not super thin. I obviously have clients that have a little bit thinner hair than this, but she doesn't have thick hair. And if you saw it at the beginning, like it's very, very light density. It looks full because of what we just did, but it does not, it's not a full hair mannequin. The Erica mannequin that I use that has brunette hair is much thicker feeling, and then some of the other ones have even thicker hair. This one is the thinnest hair mannequin. You can see the scalp of her as you're working through. So don't be discouraged, and these techniques will definitely make somebody with fine hair look way fuller. Also has a nice blowout from Danielle as well. So you're seeing that some of that volume in there. And I'm going to show you guys a couple other techniques that will make it look a little fuller. All right, so let me see where we're at. See if we have any questions. You make it look so easy. Thanks, Marilyn. I appreciate that. It is easy, though, if you know it, kind of understand the process of cutting hair. So let me get this camera back on. So if you understand what fine hair does and understand that those breaking points like we talked about. So I assessed the mannequin where it looked weak, and that's what I brought it up to. Now, a lot of fine hair guests, for some reason, want to grow their hair long and have lots of layers and long hair and volume and that they see in people with thicker hair, medium to thick hair. But the reality is, if you want to have the best hair that you have, you don't necessarily need to have the hair that somebody else has. So while it's cool, like you might think it's cool to have certain things, there's a lot of thick hair people like, I wish I didn't have so much hair and I could just cut a nice little bob and it would look good every day. So, you can't have it all, but if you do it the right way, you'll actually really enjoy styling your hair. So this particular look, we kept everything heavy and blunt, and then just layered the very top to have those layers kind of pop through. Do you prefer a cut thin hair dry? Charlene, yes. So we did talk about that at the beginning. You might just be logging in. I do like cutting fine hair dry because it gives me a better visual of how much density I'm taking away and how much we're leaving and what it's starting to look like as I go through it. Doesn't mean that I do it every single time, but a lot of the times I like to work through fine hair that way. All right. Now I want to show you guys a couple, just a styling technique that's going to give this a little bit extra body. So let's say your guest has fine hair. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to them about different product choices. Some of them, actually let me grab, see here. So I would work through, let's say like extra body products, something with panthenol. Panthenol is a great kind of inflator of the hair. So Paul Mitchell Extra Body could go through that, use that as my base. We don't need to do that today because it's already blown dry. But that would be like Paul Mitchell Extra Body Foam would help kind of plump up the hair. And then I go in with some styling products that help protect the hair because fine hair, let me go here. Fine hair can be damaged so much easier than thick hair. So what I want to do is I want to go through it, protect it. So we used hot off the press when we did our iron work. Now I want to go in with, or we didn't use hot off the press, we used Protect. Both great products, same scenario. So I add a little bit of Protect to the rest of her hair, kind of work it through. Also, products are kind of your best friend, but you want to use light products. So when I'm going in, obviously the Extra Body products are going to be nice and light. Then I go in with these Protect products, something aerosol, something lightweight to go through the hair. And then when I go in and put my iron on there, it's going to protect it from heat damage. So think about like a UV protectant that you use for the sun on your body. It's the same kind of concept when you put a hot tool on the hair. If you don't have a product to protect it, you're actually just kind of burning the hair and damaging it. So one of the number one things I would say beyond, highlighting surfaces, things like that, you got to protect your hair. Those don't actually damage your hair. What damages your hair is kind of negligence on your style work. So blow drying, pulling with the brush, flat irons that are too hot, all of these things are going to damage your hair more than an actual, service. Like a color service isn't going to damage your hair if it's done correctly. Same thing with styling hair. If it's done correctly, you don't have to worry about it. All right. So now I got Paul Mitchell Pro Tools wand here. Let me see if I can get it to, it wants to focus on her face. There you go. So I'm going to pop this thing on here. It's got a kind of this nozzle goes in a cone shape in a way. So it starts, what I like is it starts a little bit wider. So when I put the hair into it, I get a little bit tighter wave towards the mid shaft, but not super tight at the base. The base, I just want to create a little extra volume, which is going to give me, this is going to give me the volume, and then this will give me a little extra twist. And then the ends, I don't actually even wrap around this tool. So right here, so let that heat up. We're almost there. And I'm also going to use my Ergo diamond head brush. This is available on our online store as well, Shop FSE. Those of you guys that are OGs in the chat, can you please write Shop FSE? Put the link in there so everybody can see it on all the different platforms. I'd really appreciate that. Let's see here, I can pop it up as well. But Shop FSE, if you guys are looking for brushes, scissors, our new TriRazor, which is this tool here. Not really using it today, but just give it a little shout out. This is our TriRazor. It's got 3 tools in one. Cuts 100% of the hair, 25% and 50% all in one tool. We're shipping that worldwide, so if you want to purchase it, go to our online store. Keep posting that in the chat for me, guys. You guys are the best. All right. So here we go. I just want to be a little organic with the way that I pull these pieces out, and then I'm just going to softly bring it around the iron. And I want to put it in kind of a ribbon motion. So not putting it all together. I'll show you guys what I mean. So right there, you could see how it kind of just lays in a nice ribboned pattern. What I mean by don't just kind of clump it all together is take a section and wrap it kind of on top of itself like this, unless you're looking for tighter curls. If you're just looking to add a little bit of wave to the hair, which in turn will create some fullness to fine hair, you can go through it just like that and wave it through. So underneath here, I'll just give it a little bend at the base. There we go. Do I have a booklet of all the items in our online store? I do not have a booklet, but we have a website. So you could just go to the website, and I just redid it too because we got snowed in. So spent a day redoing our online store. It looks super cool. There's tons of videos on there, and it's a little more interactive than it used to be, which is pretty cool. So I'm just working through. I don't want to love that lime green color. I'm just working everything off of the face. So you can buy this wand iron on Paul Mitchell's website for sure. It's cool too because these, it's called Unclipped, Express Ion Unclipped. It's one of my favorite things because these, I'm not going to try to take this off right now because I'll probably burn myself, but these, well, there we go. You can unlock it. Is that hot? Look at that. I'm probably not going to be able to get it back on. Yeah, you can unlock it and lock it, and you can get, it comes with different attachments. You can buy other ones. So it's a bunch of tools in one, which I always enjoy, being able to change it up a little bit. So just go to paulmitchell.com. You can get that there. And I'm not leaving the hair in it too long. For one, I don't want to create damage. Two, you don't need to. I'm just creating a soft, kind of defined wave in the hair. assess the rest of that in a second. Let me see. I'm going to spray a little bit of Mitchell worked up. This is a great flexible hold hairspray. What I love about this hairspray, why it's one of my favorites, is because it's dry. So you can kind of use quite a bit of it, and it doesn't make the hair feel sticky, which is another good thing for fine hair because it makes the hair feel thicker, and you can overlay it multiple times. And it doesn't weigh the hair down. There's blue pieces around it too. Sorry, just stood in front of you guys. So number one, I just love the fullness of this haircut and how it works, how easy it is to do. See where we're at here. So you can see kind of the blunt edge of it, how it really kind of works through allowing the fullness on the bottom, but tons of movement throughout the rest. So, you know, if somebody had even finer hair than this, that is one thing that I think a lot of people are like, you know, this mannequin, they're not believing that it has super fine hair, which is totally fine. If you had finer hair than this, if you believe that your guest has finer hair than this, then what I would say is go through it and just don't elevate these layers as much. So don't pull them straight up to the ceiling, pull them out like here, and then build the weight off of that perimeter line, and then you'd have a full feeling throughout here. You wouldn't have these shorter pieces within the cut. So that would give it even more fullness as you kind of work through. All right. Let's see. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Looking at all your comments on the screen. I really like seeing all of those. See, how do you determine the length in older women? Christine, great question. This question comes up a lot on my social media, is haircuts that are great for older women. I actually think I'm going to do that again because I did a class where I cut a really short haircut that was kind of geared towards older women. But I just get so... When I look at, like yesterday I looked up top 50 haircuts for older women, which is a crazy thing to Google because older women haircuts, like I think lengthwise, there's different thoughts on that, right? Certain things that just kind of look better, but the haircuts that I found were just so dated in style, and I don't think older women need dated haircuts. So I think you can wear this haircut. I think color plays a big role in it, how you want it to look, what kind of personality you have. But I don't think age has anything to do with haircut lengths or haircut styles or color styles. I think it's totally a personal thing, and no one should be judged based on haircut length, style, all of that. So I think you need to find a stylist that really fits your personality. So the number one thing I would tell you guys, a lot of you guys in here are not hairdressers. A lot of you guys are hairdressers. We got a mixed room. I love that people come in here to learn, get inspired, to understand their hair better. I think that's key to making our industry better, is people being smarter about the choices they make when going into a salon or picking a hairdresser, all of that. Really allowing people to understand what a professional stylist is all about. With that being said, we have our own website called stylistlocator.com. If the OGs in the room could type in stylistlocator.com so that everybody can see that website visually. That is our website that gears towards finding a stylist. And those stylists are all pulled from our app. So our app is FSE Now. Oh, geez, I need you to do a lot of work for me right now. FSE Now is our app. So if you go to the App Store on Google, Android, or iPhone, just type in FSE Now, download it. As a stylist, download it, not as a customer. Stylists get trained. You put in your professional information, all of that stuff. You get your training on there, alerts, all different things. Great to have it. You also build a profile, and you can upload your work to our community, can't speak, which is an awesome way to showcase your work and then be searchable on stylistlocator.com. So if you go to stylistlocator.com, you put in your zip code, it'll pull up all the hairdressers that created profiles on our app, that train with us, that work with us. And if they have a blue check mark next to their name, that means that they work with me on a weekly basis in our virtual cutting club. So that virtual cutting club, they have access to all those classes. I see them on Zoom for the most part. Some of them don't show up, but I see them on Zoom. We work together. So I would pick, that first if it's in your area, and then see if there's anybody else. If you're looking for haircuts like I do, right? You might find somebody that is super talented, doesn't take my virtual cutting classes. That could happen too, which is totally possible. Could you recommend scissors? So, Rosemary, it's a great question. None of the scissors that I know, I'm not an at-home hair cutter person, so I'm not going to recommend. I do believe that everybody should go to a salon to get their hair done. I understand being excited to maybe try things out. We all have been at that point. I think most hairdressers have the story of growing up and being 16, 17, 18, cutting their friend's hair and trying it out and then wanting to do this. But with that being said, you can't put hair back on. And there are professionals that are really talented at it, that work hard at it, and I would encourage you to go find those people. I don't do recommendations to do anything at home. That's just not me. So although I love that you are inspired and want to do it, I definitely would say I recommend finding a professional to do it, but just gaining knowledge through all this that you can share and talk to the professional about. Makes our conversation and our work a lot easier. Crystal, definitely want into the Zoom meeting that you have. Yes, it's super fun. Any of the cutting club people that are in this room will tell you, it's a great way to build a connection because I see you guys in the chat here, but it's much better to be able to see you on video and really just watch how you cut hair and then make adjustments to it. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. Read me, please. I did, I think. So if you want to be in those Zoom meetings, all you have to do is go download the FSE Now app. And then one of the first questions is, which program do you want to sign up for? Do you want to sign up for the free program, which gets you access to everything except Virtual Cutting Club? And then there's a question, do you want to be a part of the Virtual Cutting Club? You just sign up for that. It's $50 a month. It is an investment, but at the same time, it's not a big room at this point. We keep adding classes, and you get to hang with me once a week, which usually I would charge about $300, $350 a ticket to come spend a day with me cutting hair. We don't do that right now in COVID days. Virtual Cutting Club is awesome because you get to do it every week, and we get to hang out with each other. And I would tell you that I think it's even better because on a ticketed event, when we're in a room together and there's 20 people, I spend, it's a 4-hour class. I'm walking around. I talk to one person. You guys are off cutting hair. I can't see you cutting hair. Until I get around, maybe you've already finished the section and I didn't even see it. This way, I literally can see all of you guys at the same time. I go through it, and if I see somebody doing something, I call them out, and we talk about it, and we make the adjustments. So it's just a definite better way to be right there with each other. All right. Gloria, thanks for keeping it professional. You're very welcome. That's what this is all about. But I do invite people that aren't professional into these. I love it because, again, I think it makes the industry better to give people knowledge in all aspects. Plus, I think people can take fine hair tips from this, styling tips, things like that, and understand that they could give this to a stylist, just so that the stylist can understand what they're saying. You know, that's kind of what it's all about. It's not saying, here, stylist, learn from this guy, he knows everything. That's not what it is. I'm saying, hand it to them so that they can just see what I'm saying and they can interpret it themselves and give you guys the best haircut, because they know your hair better than I do. Sheena, what's the app? The app is FSE Now. So if you go to freesaloneducation.com, you can click on which phone you have and it'll take you right to the App Store to download it, or just go to the App Store and type in FSE Now. Let's see. Exactly, Marissa. That's exactly what I'm saying. So, exactly. Your work is an art, so very good at this. Thank you so much, Lori. I appreciate it. Any videos on cutting curly hair? Just ordered. So here's another cool thing. Danielle, who did color this mannequin, that I've talked about quite a bit lately. I ordered a bunch of curly hair mannequins, like 20 curly hair mannequins. She also has people that might be models. She's going to start doing some curly hair work on the channel throughout the week. So be on the lookout for that. Coloring curly hair, cutting curly hair, styling curly hair, you know, all those different things. So definitely we're going to get some more educators on here doing stuff. Rosemary, I totally get it. And if it's a COVID thing and salons are shut down, I totally get it. And have, like, obviously, so here's my other position on all of this. Rosemary's not taking my clients or your clients, or even in her town, her clients. She's taking her son, who might be your client. But there's a reason why, there's usually a reason, whether it's COVID or she can't find anybody. We got to change that, because if somebody comes in to get a haircut from me, I'm going to make sure I do everything in my power to be educated, be ready for whatever hair type they have, and make their hair better than when they walked in. If you don't make their hair better than when they walked in, they're going to go somewhere else. And if that person doesn't make their hair better than when they walked in, they're going to go somewhere else. And eventually, they're going to get tired and they're going to want to do it themselves for multiple different reasons. Maybe Rosemary wants, Rosemary, sorry, I'm the worst. Maybe she just really loves hair. Why is that a bad thing? She's not charging people for it. She's doing what's best for her family. Totally get it. Now, from that standpoint, it's our responsibility as professional stylists to make this industry better with every guest that sits in our chair, and to be as knowledgeable as possible, give them a good time, show them, build a relationship with them, and make sure that they leave your chair feeling super grateful that they found you. That's what this is about. And if you don't do that, then this industry just goes downhill. So it's our responsibility to make it better and to showcase what's possible. I think that's why I like that other people watch this other than just professionals, because I want them to see that there are more possibilities than just, if they go into a place and they get discouraged because they didn't get a good haircut. There are great haircutters everywhere. Great colorists, great stylists. You just got to find them. And they're at all price ranges too. So don't feel like, you can't find somebody that can do hair at an affordable price. You just got to look. You got to put in a little work to find it. Jocelyn, hi from Quebec. Like what you do. Keep up the good work. And we are going back to work next week after 7 weeks. Awesome, Jocelyn. That's great to hear. A lot of people are in that boat. I know California just went back. So that's super cool. I'm sorry you didn't get your answer. Can't understand that one. Bangs are tough. So, Ellen, that's a great point. Bangs are one of the toughest things because they sit on a curve. So, if you look at, let me show you this. We'll talk about bangs for a second. this part of the head here. Okay. So bangs are one of the toughest things because look at, this is basically your section for bangs right here, right? Now, a lot of that hair wants to fall here to the sides, and then some of it wants to fall to the front. When you cut the rest of the haircut, you're working with a ton of head shape, and it's got like a nice little curve to it. It comes down here, so it's easy to cut it blunt and have a nice feeling to it. When you look at a bang, all of this hair is sitting basically below 0 degrees. So let's talk about the head shape. This is 90, right? 90 degrees off the head, so straight off the head. This, if we drew a straight line here, basically, this is 0 degrees, right? So this is 90 degrees here. Sorry, I have the worst handwriting and the worst drawing skills. 0 degrees, 90 degrees. Bangs sit here, right? So if bangs sit here, they're sitting below 0, which makes them super heavy. So those of you guys that cut hair, you know this. The further down hair gets, it's why this part of the hair gets so heavy as it goes around this curve of the head, because you've got 90 degrees here, 90, 90, and it just shifts up. So if this hair is coming, and this is 0 here, 90, 0, then what is this down here, right? What is that? It's below 0, so it's going to be super heavy when you go to cut it. If they have fine hair, this is great because you want heaviness. If they have thick hair, it's not great because now you're going to have super thick blunt hair, so you got to start elevating it a little bit. When you elevate it, you start building a graduation. Elevation starts, well, I mean, it's not graduation because it's one length here. But then as you start to elevate the hair out, you'll start to get a graduated line here, which will start to build up, and it'll free up some weight right here at the bottom. I feel like I'm John Madden. Just the worst drawings everywhere. But this graduation, then it starts pushing that weight. So now your heaviest point's going to be right here where it sits at the 0 mark. So, so you end up with 0, and then you've got your graduation that comes off at 0. So technically people would call this 45 degrees coming off like this, but it's not 45 degrees because this is 90 out to this point here. And then it starts turning into 45 degrees when you get to this point. So many arrows. Doesn't even look like anything anymore. All right. Susan, thank you so much. I was going to put your comment up here. It's very nice, but it's super long, so this is what it'll look like. That's why. Oh, goodness. Look at her hair. Oh, wait. I love it. You have so much volume. This is awesome. So there's Susan's comment. Love your videos. You're so talented. I'm going to put some music on and finish up talking here. Thank you, guys. Tips on cutting children ages 5 and under. Tips on cutting ages 5 and under would be to give them lollipops and cheese. Do you have any tips or advice for trying? Cheese is better than lollipops, though, just so you know, because lollipops collect hair. So, all right, cool. I'm not quite sure I understand your comment, but are used to do John Madden hair and makeup before football games. Charlotte. I thought, wow, that's hilarious. That was definitely John Madden moments right there. Can you say Mira, please? Mira? Like a Mira or your Mira? Power Mira. Joanna, thank you so much. All right. Any other questions? I don't want to, keep you guys on here too long. It's a good class today. Didn't go too long. Quick haircut. Again, we'll have the full version of it out soon. Teacher, keep up the videos. Sheena, thank you so much. Do you pronounce it Sheena? Sheena Taylor. Julie, thank you. I used to do John Madden's hair and makeup before football games. That's hilarious. Okay, I got you. Sweet. Famous hairdresser in the house. Did he spell it out for you like that? Like, was the John Madden explanation like, did he draw it out on a board for you? Because that would be really funny. Jenny, you're very welcome. All right, cool. Thanks, Adele. Appreciate it. Where do you live again? I'm in Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia. Thank you. I'm really enjoying your videos, and as an older person, thank you for the comment about not giving us dated haircuts. You're very welcome, Jane. None of you deserve a dated haircut. Doesn't look like you have a dated haircut. And those kids are cute. Let's see. Thank you for your tutorials. Managed to layer my own hair last night. Ramita, okay. Good job. Cool. Thanks a lot for the great info. Sweet. Do you guys have any other questions? If you have questions, post them real quick. I'll hang on here. A little Q&A, but I got like 3 minutes, and then I'm going to go. So let me know if you have questions. Very cool. Very cool. Those are my grandkids. Grandkids are the best. I don't have any yet, but I have a kid, so maybe someday. Is the app called FSE Now? Yes. The app is called FSE Now, Catherine. So, and just so you guys know, heads up, I don't take clients in the salon because I do this full time every day, film videos, make videos for the internet to hopefully make hairdressers, not make them better, but just, help with education in the field. So this is the company that we started. I own a salon. So if you guys want to book an appointment at the salon, totally cool. Super talented people here. But I don't take clients. So a lot of people call asking, saying they'll drive. I don't take new clients. But go to stylistlocator.com and find them for yourself. What site do I go on to watch your curly hair tutorials? So you can go on to YouTube and just type in curly hair. So if you go to like somebody's YouTube channel, you can actually search within their channel. So there's a search button. Just go to the front page, youtube.com/freesaloneducation. You can search in the search tab and just put curly hair, and a bunch of videos will come up with curly hair videos that we made over the years. All right. Cool. So Alia, any do's and don'ts for fine hair when cutting? So great question. I do think we went over quite a bit of that during this class. So if you get a chance, watch the class back. But do's and don'ts would be, it's not that there's a lot of don'ts, in my opinion. There's things that I prefer, which is kind of what I did today. So going through assessing the perimeter length, even if you cut it wet, when they come in with it dry, you can look at it and determine where you want that length before you take them back, shampoo them. Then when you start cutting it, I do like to try to create as much blunt lines as possible within a haircut, but then blunt can sometimes transfer into heavy. So when you look at the top and how I did the top of the head, I did it with more point cutting techniques because I wanted to lighten up the line. So that's like a couple tips. And then obviously I wouldn't blow dry her hair flat. So you go over here So I wouldn't blow dry your hair flat because then it wouldn't create as much volume in here. So being able to go in and, just give it a little bit of a style with the wand iron, maybe blow dry it with a round brush, and then just hit it with the wand iron a little bit to just create that wave in the body in there. And then that helps your shape expand. So like thicker hair might kind of get this look. If it has a tiny bit of wave to it, might already have this look. Fine hair is going to lay flatter. So then you need to do something to enhance that wave. And going in with the products, like I talked about, lighter weight hairsprays, like Worked Up, Paul Mitchell Worked Up is, you can go in, it mists over the hair. It doesn't sit heavy. Like some other hairsprays, finishing sprays, they go in the hair wet and they get kind of clumpy. Worked Up, you can really just keep working through the hair and building more and more volume and body throughout it. So I think the overlaying of products really helps build the body in your fine hair as well. Debbie, thank you. All right, cool. What if the client wants to keep their hair length long, but their hair is weak? Adele, so great question. We kind of talked about this already though. When you look at a client that has longer hair, but it looks weak, you got to cut it. Unless they don't mind it looking weak. That's the thing too. Like clients might like it weak looking. So at that point, you can just do what you can. You don't layer it more, because if you layer it more, it's going to get even weaker. So what I would do with them is discuss the options, which is taking it shorter to the point where they have the most density. That's my opinion as a professional. And then if they steer away from that opinion, then that's on them. But I'll let them know that my recommendation is to take it up. If they don't want to take it up, it's kind of up to them at that point. But it's really important to fill them with as much knowledge as you have with fine hair, products, styling, choices, multiple different looks that they could do. With this length of hair, they could wear it kind of smoothed out if they wanted to, but give them some products to plump it up. Powdery products, drier products, kind of stack them on there. And then, then they have options and they see what the style can do. And once you've given them that knowledge, then they might make a better choice. If you're just like, oh, okay, you want it long? Let me do that. Then you're kind of causing yourself trouble, because they're not going to like it in the long run, and they didn't take your advice. So, all right. Thank you, Lisa. All right, cool. All right, guys, I got to run, but it was really fun hanging with you guys today. And not that song. What's this? There we go. Really fun hanging out with you guys today. Had a blast. Can't wait till next Tuesday. So remember, these classes are always on Tuesdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have other classes coming up, but next week it'll definitely be on Tuesday. So be on the lookout. Make sure you set that notification bell. So if you're on YouTube, hit the reminder bell. Also on Facebook, you can hit a reminder as well. So anytime I do anything on live, I post a video, you guys will know, and you guys can follow along. Remember, do me a favor, anytime you see me doing anything on the internet, just hit the share button and tag me in it so I can say thank you. I appreciate you guys supporting everything that's happening here at Free Salon Education. If you want to get some tools, you want to support the channel even more, you can get combs, clips, brushes, tools, everything that we used on this video on our online store. You can also pick up a TriRazor on there as well, which is, if you're worldwide, you want to purchase something from our store, you can get the TriRazor on there for $44.95. 3 tools in one. You can cut textured hair, thick hair, skinny hair, wet hair, dry hair. You do everything with it. It's a super fun tool to use. Check it out on Shop FSE over there. And that's pretty much it. All right. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks so much. Thank you, Karen.